Hi there and welcome back. My name is Cynthia Wakeo, the Communication and Events Manager at Corporate Staffing Services. And today we're going to be looking at the key essential HR documents that you need or are key to your business. And I am joined by Paminas, who is our CEO at Corporate Staffing, and is going to be telling us why these HR documents are important. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Cynthia.
So when we're talking about HR documents, which are the key documents that are essential for a business?
So I would say if you're a business owner or manager watching this, and more so, the SMEs, because majority of the SMEs, they may not have the capacity to have their own HR personnel. Yeah. So with that in mind, what documentation do you need? Number one is job description, and not just any job description that also has KPIs, key performance indicators. Then the law requires that you give an employee a contract if you're going to have them for more than 2 months. That's another document. It's important for you to have a performance appraisal, whereby you take your staff through a performance review, which I would recommend at least twice a year. That's another document. It's important for you to have a HR policy, very important. Another document is payslip. It's a legal requirement for you to give your staff a payslip showing whatever they've earned and the deduction. So top of mind, I would say, Cynthia, especially if you're an SME, those are some of the key documents that you need.
So the documents you've mentioned, why are they essential? Why are they important to a business?
Now, whether you have a HR department or not, there are some things that you need to adhere to. Yeah. Number one, it's compliance with the law. So like I said, something like a payslip, something like an employment contract, it's a must that you give your staff. In any case, should things go down south, it's your word against the staff. So if I don't give you a payslip, Cynthia, and you come and you say, oh, we agreed on a salary of 50,000, and this company has been paying me 40,000, what proof do you have? Yeah. So again, deductions. You cannot deduct staff, without their consent. So it's important. By the end of the month, you show someone that this is the much you earned and these are the deductions, whether it's the statutory deduction, whether it's a circle, such kind of things. So number one is compliance. Number two is about the best practices. And this is where things like a HR policy comes in. You do want to ensure that whether it's the management or the employee, they are working towards certain standards. And so the HR policy, it really governs the relationship between the employer and the employee. So that's where it comes in. Yeah. The third part is, I would say, it's able to clarify expectations. And here I have in mind performance appraisal document and also job description with KPIs. So when an employee joins an organization and you give them a job description and you tell them these are the KPIs, then you prevent these issues where you find there's a lot of conflict between the employer and the employee, because both parties, there's a miscommunication because someone doesn't understand what needs to be done. So the way for you to share with them the expectation is through a job description with KPIs. Then again, still in terms of clarifying expectations, there's the issue of performance review. So someone has been with you for 1 year, 2 years, you need to give them feedback on how they are doing, and not just oral feedback. It needs to be documented. Yeah. And remember again, if things go down south and you want to terminate someone on account of non-performance, then you need to show that you've taken them through a performance improvement process. And that is where now the KPIs you come in, that is where the performance appraisal will come in. Yeah. The other document I forgot and now I've remembered is it's any correspondence between the employer and the employee. Yeah. So whether it's promotions, disciplinary cases, the performance review, anything that happens, there must be an employee file where all those correspondences are documented, filed for future reference.
Yeah. That's why you find that recently a lot of employers have been taken to court, and one of the key issues you see is documentation, lack of documentation.
Yes, yes. You'll be surprised because in terms of compliance, if you ask me, the labor laws, it doesn't require a lot. It just requires that you put your house in order.
Yes.
And putting your house in order means, do you have proper documentation? How is the documentation? Then how is the communication done between the two parties?
Yes.
And if a third party asks for that document, can they be able to follow and see that indeed due process was followed?
Yes.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up, what advice would you give to employers in regards to what you have just spoken about?
So if it's a HR, you are working as a HR somewhere, it's good to advise the management on the need to be compliant on some of this documentation. For example, employee correspondence. We don't just do things, you know, you can't just wake up one day and fire someone. You know, unless, even if it's gross misconduct, you need to take them through the due process. So, and I'm sure anyone working in HR does understand this. So it's a matter of acting as an internal consultant where you advise the management so that they can see the need to be compliant. However, my message to anyone running a business, and I would say even if you have one staff, it's important to start putting your house in order from day one. And as you can see, some of these things, they don't have to wait, because even if you have one staff, I would imagine, Cynthia, that they need to have an employment contract. You need to give them a pay slip. You know, you need to be appraising their work now and then. So the mistake you find is many of the business owners, SMEs, they say, oh, I'll put these things when I get 10 staff, 15 staff, and that time it will be too much. And then you'll also have lost a lot. Because if I'm staff number one and I've worked for you for 3 years without a contract, then maybe you want to terminate me, you want to declare me redundant, or such kind of things. You can see how messy it gets. Yeah. So my advice is, anyone watching this and they feel they don't have the capacity to hire a full-time HR resource, that's why we are here. We are an accredited HR firm. So we can come in, help you in putting your house in order, making sure all the HR structures and processes are put in order, to be able to not only serve you, but also serve the employee. Because when there's order, it serves both parties. Yeah, systems work to the benefit of both parties. When you give an employee a contract, they're able to see, oh, this is what I'm working with. I'm probation on 4 months. If I don't put my act together, I'll not be confirmed. So there are no ifs and buts. It's pretty clear from the word go. Yeah, if the salary, this is the much I'm earning. When am I due for a review? What do I need? What KPIs do I need to meet? So as you can see, there's a lot of clarity between both parties. Yeah.
Thank you so much for expounding on this topic. And thank you for watching this video. And if you are looking for an HR expert to advise you on these things, to ensure that your house is in order, but also you're compliant to the Kenyan labor laws, please contact us. We have left a link on the description box for more information on how you can contact us. See you in the next video.